Hey, what's up, creative writing? I am getting an error message on YouTube, so this might be a little choppy in the beginning of the video, but anyway, this won't be long. I'm not introducing any new stuff, of course. I'm just explaining where we are and what's next and what I'm doing on my end. So here's the link for today. I'm going to add some bullet points once I'm done for recap. And what I've been doing is some grading. Okay, I didn't add any new assignments, although I will add one more, which is the final story part of this project. And let's review real quick what we've had in the second quarter. Fall break extra, that's awesome. Some people have like 140% or 150% in here because they did that extra credit, and it really helps. Some people have 100 because they did that and then didn't do something else, but it's a big deal. Anyway, the story, obviously, we're talking about nonlinear stories, anything with a flashback or flash forward or jump in perspective. I asked for examples, a lot of people turned that in, and then I asked for a plan for your story, either a new one or taking your quarter one story and rearranging it. Either way is fine, and a lot of people turn that in. However, I put zeros for the ones who didn't. I put zeros for this, and also this. The project on the Scary Store is the October reading project. I just put in the grades for that, which, I mean, this has been my problem in here, is that I like to wait. I like to give people time, and I like to, you know, you turn something in, I send it back with comments and say, hey, that's great, but we need this part, or do more of this. And so I like to hold off on the grades, but the problem is a lot of people don't even start until they get a 0. So I should have done that earlier, but I put in, for this one, here's the deal. On the project, I asked to make a video, okay? And some people did, and they got, boom, perfect score. If you basically made a video at all, and I can watch it, and the audio works and the video works, and you do a presentation on the story, you basically got the perfect score on that. But some people just did half of it. They just made a slideshow, and that's it. And for those people, I gave half credit. Okay, I know it's not great. I know your grade doesn't look good right now. But, I mean, that's all we can do. I thought about making the video extra. But the same people who did that are the people who did this. So they would end up having like 200%, and it wouldn't help anybody else. So currently, these grades are all over the place. Some people are perfect, some people are 0, some people are in the middle. And yes, I'll still take them. If you want to make a video, you can. Even if you do something else, I'll probably take it. One person made a poster. I got a lovely poster here. And you know what? I gave him full credit because what the heck. But please don't forget about that. And I know some of you guys are going to start now because, like I said, a lot of people just start once they see the 0, which, whatever. I understand. If I were you, I might forget about something for a while and then get that reminder, or maybe get that reminder from mom when she sees the grade. But anyway, I will work with you. I will answer questions, answer emails. If you turn something in, I'll take a look and send it back, or tell you what you need, whatever we got to do. So please do not worry. If you turn something in, I'm not going to be mad. I'm, in fact, going to be very happy because I don't want to end up with zeros. Now, the only other thing I'm going to add one more assignment. I'm going to start it right after I finish this video. Is going to say nonlinear story draft. Okay, it's just a draft. We're not doing first and second because we don't quite have time. I mean, some of you guys do because you've already got the first basically, but it's just going to say draft, and that's going to be the CQA, the final thing for this quarter. And it's going to say, okay, write a nonlinear story with a flashback or flash forward or other jump in perspective. If you have that, check in that category. It's going to say minimum 500 words, which I know is insanely small. Like, it's probably not enough to actually do it. But last quarter we did 1,000. Some people did way more, and that's great. But I want to make it just so that, like, you can do it, so that it is absolutely possible. And the only people who get a 0 are going to be the people who just do 0 and turn in nothing. So it's going to say minimum 500, but you can absolutely do way more, and you will not be penalized. And if you would do 1,500 or 25, I'll still read it. I'll still love it. And, you know, most of the people who are on track already have more than 500 just from their plan, and that's totally great. So don't think that I'm recommending that much. I'm just really making it so that, like, this is possible to do. Okay, and then the third thing after, you know, the flashback, flash forward, and the length, the third thing is going to be back to our original story criteria that we talked about from the very beginning. Is, do you have a character who wants something and they have a conflict and they end up changing to overcome it, or fail or leave or whatever, but they have to have some kind of change at the end, or maybe not at the end. If you're doing it out of order, you might have them get some kind of partial change now, and then we learn what it means later, blah, blah, blah. But that's the point, okay? It's got to be a story. It's got to have some kind of length, and then it's got to have the thing for this quarter, which is the nonlinear stuff, okay? A flashback, a flash forward, or some similar structural jump. By the way, if you're on YouTube, the thumbnail for this video, let me see if it shows it now. Maybe it just shows me, because I'm currently in the middle of it. But the thumbnail for the video is that classic story structure graph, sometimes known as Freytag's triangle, that has the little up and down. Yeah, I think if I click on it, it'll go away, but it's got your sort of exposition at the beginning. I bet I can go, boom, open image and you tell. Haha. Okay, you got exposition at the beginning, and this is when you tell us who's who and where they are and what the rules are. If you're in fantasy, you need to do more of this because you have more rules. If you're set in, like, an American high school this year, you probably don't need to do any because we know how it works. Conflict is something happens when your character tries to achieve a goal and doesn't, right? They can't get it on the first try, so they have resistance. And maybe there's a villain, maybe there's a internal struggle and the character wants different things. Maybe it's the society or your character's world or their body. Maybe they have an injury, maybe they have an addiction. It can be all kinds of things. And then they keep trying bigger and bigger things, different things, going out of their comfort zone, until there's a climax where they change the world or change themselves in a way that is permanent. That's like, we're not just doing more of the same, we're in a new world now, in a new situation. And then, you know, they use it and beat the bad guy, or confess their love, or overcome their selfishness, or whatever they have to do. And then you might have a little resolution, a little celebration, or a journey home of some kind. Although that's often cut from a short story. That's more of something you might see in a longer thing. So the point is, your story will still have this stuff, even if you tell it out of order. So the most classic version is you start here. You start with the rising action right before the climax with something cool and fast-paced and attention-grabbing. And then, boom, here's how we got to that point. And then we get to see the climax and what it means. So that's very reasonable. I recommended a few people start here because their character is in a physical altercation, a fight or a chase, something like that. And in one way, everybody reacts the same. You know, like if you're Indiana Jones and the boulder is rolling behind you, you just have to run. It doesn't matter what your character is. Every single character would run the same way in the same direction in that spot, you know? So we can start there because we don't have to know much. And then you can zoom back and go, okay, well, what is special about this character? And what do they make? What choices do they make that might be different from other people? And then later we can go, aha, let's see them in a situation where they don't react universally, where they do something different. Like, you know, Indiana Jones, there's a part in, I assume you guys have seen Raiders of the Lost Ark. I don't know, sometimes I make references and they fall flat. But there's a part in that movie later where he meets a swordsman, where there's a guy who's like whipping around this cool sword in cool ways, and you think that Indiana Jones is going to have to duel him, and then he ends up just shooting the guy and moving on. And that shows that, you know, he doesn't care about honor or looking cool. He just cares about sort of doing the job. And it's a very like Harrison Ford thing, because, you know, he does that cool like sigh, I gotta go through this type of acting. So that's what I recommended to several people, is like you start with this idea of your character in a situation where they react in a way that's universal. They would just run or fight or do like something where they didn't really have a choice. But then we flash back, learn what's special about them, and then at the climax they do something where they do have a choice, where it's based on their specifics, where they do something that nobody else could, or they're forced to do something that they wouldn't normally do, go out of their comfort zone, and then blah, 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 we see how it ends. So you might think of it that way if you are still struggling to arrange your story. But basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at each person individually and just say, what do you need? If you see my tabs here, I got several of these opened up because I want to just say, hey, here's what you do, and then look at somebody else, here's what you do, and they might be different. As long as you're in that position, if you've got stuff and we can work with it, you're fine. Okay, your grade's going to be good because it's going to go up. Like if you have something and it gets better, it's going to go up. If you have a thing halfway turned in and then you add what you need, it's going to go up. Okay, I don't want to make anybody's grade go down at the end and then they would be surprised, like, whoa, I thought it was fine. So that's why the grades look low now. I understand. But again, like I said, I have to do that because I don't want to surprise anyone, and I don't want anyone to wait. Like some people are going to start today because they see a 0 and they're going to go, oh, I got to get this. So I think we're going to be fine. We have lots of time. We have this week, next week, and then those sort of holiday times where there's 2 days in Thanksgiving week, and then there's a 5-day week afterwards. But again, we don't want to wait until then to start. We want to start now, or start 2 weeks ago, which many of you have, and go from there. So that's it for now. I don't want to make this too long. I will post the final assignment, and you can turn in your thing there anytime. I will take it and grade it, or I will take it and recommend changes depending on what you need. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you.